You need your little intro, outro, whatever.
What is up, guys? What's going on? Welcome back to my Instagram, the YouTube, whatever this is going to be broadcasted on. I just want to let you know that we are here to empower futures through inspirational stories. So here we go. Today is going to be our first. I am the, I guess you can call it guest, and we have Angelina, the moderator, for the questions. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started.
All right. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your business and what you do?
So I I do real estate. I'm in the military. I also do options trading part time. So yes, it's a lot going on with that. That's in that aspect of business. I'm also doing this podcast. So is that what you were looking for?
Yeah, so you seem pretty well rounded. So tell us how you would define success.
That's a good one. Success. So with success, I feel like you set goals, you set milestones, you set, um, I guess you can call it like your finish line. You set your finish line and you seek out to succeed or maybe even excel and reach there. I think that's what success is being able to get to that destination and being able to say, look, I did it. It's been a rough journey.
So that's your definition of success today. Do you think that that definition for yourself has changed over time?
Absolutely. Not too far off. I would say like, as a kid, I was like, oh, I want to be a millionaire. I want to, have this business, that business. But it was more so now it's like, I just want to be able to be free and get some of my time back.
Right.
After like coming from a kid to like adult life, I don't have much time anymore. And that's just the reality.
Absolutely, yeah. And you said you're in the stock market and you do a lot of real estate. So how do you stay adaptable in a constantly changing market like those two?
So with the stock market, normally a trader would be day trading, but for me, being able to do both, not day trading, but I can, but just more so swing trading. So I'll identify my positions and I'll make them throughout the day. They meet my entry, and then with swing trading, pretty much is like over time, like over a couple days, weeks, whatever. But as long as I reach my profit, and I'm good, so I don't have to like I guess proactively like monitor the market while I'm working.
So it sounds like you have a lot of decision making to do when you're trading.
Mm.
How do you approach risk taking and decision making in your business?
Risk taking, so the reward has to definitely outweigh the risk. If it's not worth my time, I'm just not gonna get into it, and that's the reality of things. Um, and I use that towards my decision making process. Being able to make that decision, I have to figure out, okay, is the risk not or does if the reward is not outweighing the risk, um, not only that, but is it a good time to get in? We can look at the rewards all day, but is it meeting optimal conditions?
Right. And going off of that, do you think you can share with the viewers a specific strategy or habit that has contributed to your success?
Okay, so a habit would be, or for me at least, is I write everything down, and there might be some days I don't wake up on time or early, or I don't work out every day of the week. But if I'm at least working out, if I'm at least waking up, getting things done, and being able to write it down and remember that,
Right.
I consider that habit like as one of my most successful throughout my life.
It also sounds like writing things down is a really good habit that you have going on there.
Mm.
How important is continuous learning and personal development in your journey?
Learning and personal development, I'd say, is the biggest, because knowledge is wealth, and great wisdom comes with that. So I'd say like just being able to learn, constantly being curious in the subjects and the things that I'm learning, being able to learn how to trade, I think is has definitely been beneficial to me. And then what was your last one? You said learning and personal development, right?
Personal development,
Personal development.
correct?
So also personal development, like of being able to develop my mind, to grow better habits, to grow myself, not just like as a person, but mentally, to get out of that little boy mindset. That was what allowed me to get further in life as well.
So, what milestones or achievements are you most proud of in your journey to success?
So I'd say that it'd be hopefully my impact on others. Um, and also I guess like a milestone. I've always wanted a house, and being able to get one at such an early age and being able to profit off of that substantially, I think that was a huge uprising for me, and it taught me a lot of things.
Can you build off of that? What age did you acquire your house? How did you do that? How did you make money off of it?
Okay, so I'm 23 now. I feel so old, but I was able to sign the contract on the house at 20. And from 20, COVID kind of slowed things down, so I didn't get to see or even live in my house by 22.
Mm-hmm.
But the beauty of it all was I was able to lock in the prices at 2020.
Wow. Yeah.
So that led to so much gain.
And how else have you been able to make money off of your house?
So I currently rent my rooms, and the biggest one that really elevated me was being able to rent my master bedroom, which was in the grand scheme of things, I didn't think anything of it. Like I was more like, oh, today's the day I'm gonna do it. I've always wanted to do it, and I met with the right people, was able to network with them, and they taught me how to Airbnb. Um, I took that leap of faith going to Africa, and in making money from Africa, I was able to make around $1,400 a month
Wow.
for the next 12 months. And it wasn't just the money aspect of it. It was the fact that the person living there, so they were
Mm-hmm.
able to get their green card through me, and I was able to help them and facilitate that process. And because of all of that, led to him joining the Air Force eventually. So I was
Right.
able to change their lives on a grand scheme of things. That made me more fulfilled.
Wow, that's amazing. I know you mentioned how, you got into Airbnb through networking. So how important is networking and building relationships in your success story?
So networking has been the biggest gain for me because it's really cliche, but it's not what you know, it's who you know. And your network is your net worth. And so
Wow.
for me to know the right people, be involved in the right environment,
Hmm.
that was able to overall facilitate the growth and stimulate the growth that I needed to be better and reach my goals.
So how do you maintain a sense of fulfillment and purpose once you've achieved a certain level of success? You're so young, you're 23, you already acquired your first house, you're able to make money off of that. So how do you maintain that sense of fulfillment and purpose with all your success that you already have achieved?
Sense of fulfillment and purpose, like maintain that.
Yeah, so like after achieving like all of these, goals that you've already done, how do you maintain that? Like, do you set new goals, set new levels of success for yourself?
Mm.
How do you maintain the fulfillment of just having a purpose and achieving?
Well, I've always wanted more in life, and I think people they say what they want, and eventually they do get it. But it's how much do you want, and how have you told yourself that you really wanted it? Everything's in your head, but why not write it out? Because once in your head, and like a couple minutes later, it's gone. But for me, I've always wrote things out, so I was able to maintain that through continuously writing it, and like along the way, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to live in a bigger house. I want
Right.
to drive this car. I want to go to these places. And so that was able to overall help me maintain that, and through my mentors as well, like just giving me new ideas and growth.
So how do you stay open to new opportunities and avoid complacency after achieving your success?
That's a crazy question. One more time, please. One more time, please.
Like after you achieve all the success that you have achieved so far,
Mm-hmm.
what have you learned so far that has taught you to avoid, like, taught you to stay open to new opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
but taught you to also avoid complacency? Like, what have you learned?
So I've learned that at my age to avoid that complacency and to be able to continue. I'm sorry, the questions were very
I'm
advanced.
sorry. Okay, let's let's backtrack a little bit.
Okay,
Let's focus
okay,
on one part.
okay, okay, okay.
So, after achieving so much success, how do you stay open to new opportunities? You have what you like to do. You have the success in, your business, your stocks, your real estate investments. How do you stay open to new opportunities still?
Mentors keep you in check. I've always had so much ideas growing up, and even a couple years ago, I've always wanted to do this, and this, like crypto mining and YouTube automation. And I don't really include that in my success now. Actually, I should, because those are my failures,
Mm-hmm.
um, which can still then turn into success. But that has like kind of, it was like those are wake up calls.
Right.
When you realize, like, oh, I took the wrong step. Let me take a step back, reevaluate, and take a step forward in the right direction. So you really need to analyze that with yourself, because if you continuously walk in the wrong path, eventually you're not going to get to where you want to be. So you really have to take a step back, think about it, and then move forward.
So, what's a piece of advice you would give to somebody that's struggling from taking a step back, or from someone that's struggling from a setback failure? What advice would you give them to get them to continue going?
So don't beat yourself up too much about it, like, or on that situation, because in the grand scheme of things, that was one battle. You're still having an ongoing war. And
Mm,
so with multiple battles, you just win more than you lose, because
right.
we're gonna lose. We're humans. We make mistakes. We're not
Right.
perfect. So with the negative, or with the setbacks that I had, I would encourage those to look at it, accept it, and do a lessons learned. Maybe that wasn't for you, or maybe it was for you, but at the end of the day, successful people and people who make it are complex problem solvers.
Right.
So solve that problem, pick up your feet, and move forward.
So, can you share with the viewers um, a moment in time where you had a setback or you had a failure and how you were able to get out of it?
So now I would consider this friendship a failure, but so friend, if you're watching this, or once a friend, I want to let you know, right? So there's a friend who took advantage of me, of my ability to trust others, and because I trust him to a certain point where we had a close relationship, just
Mm-hmm.
best friends and business partners, he took the business from up under me. My traders community, my traders took their money, and from that, after a couple, like, hits on my reputation, I had to, like, take a step back, let me think. Let me not talk to the guy and consult with advice on the situation that's happening,
Yeah.
but let me learn from it, and see, like, okay, this guy is the issue. Like, I'm
Right.
not progressing because of this variable. And so, yeah, I distanced myself. Um, I forgave him for it. I took some
Mm-hmm.
money, but at the end of the day, we got to move forward.
Absolutely. So, going back to our other question, and how are you avoiding complacency after achieving success? So, how do you avoid different things that might hinder your success, or different things that might not um, what's the word? Different things that might not apply to your success or help your success. How do you avoid those after, what you've learned?
I don't think it's more so avoiding, it's just more so being there. I guess it would be to avoiding, but you're going to see it. And when you see it, when you see like that repeat mistake, or when you see that there's a detrimental value, or person in your environment, you want to isolate yourselves from them, or just walk around them if possible, metaphorically, of course. But if you do that, um, you should be able to avoid, I guess, that mistake. But if not, you're just gonna have to go through it, and you're gonna learn a lot from it.
Right. So, can you hold on? I'm putting the words together. How do you handle like the pressure that and expectations you receive from the success that you have? So, because you have achieved so much, there's obviously a sense of, pressure that you receive from viewers or family to continue doing better, to continue moving up. How do you deal with that kind of stress?
I wouldn't say I deal with that stress. I see what you're saying, like
Mm-hmm.
the person you have to uphold. But for me, I am so, like, linear, not linear, but like, just, I guess, like tunnel vision in it per se. Like, I'm in my own world. Like,
Yeah.
I just absolutely enjoy doing what I do, failing when I do fail, learning from when I do learn. I'm absolutely in my own world. So I don't say that it doesn't have a significant impact on me.
Okay. Were there, you mentioned mentors earlier, so were there any significant mentors or role models who influenced, your decision to become an entrepreneur?
It was mainly my dad. He was always telling me, like, just teaching me as a kid on like ways and things that I could do to be better, or whether it's teaching me finance or money or trading or not necessarily trading, but more so like acquiring long term assets. Um, he taught me a lot, and so I think he really set me on my path of being an entrepreneur. I'd say my uncle as well. He's a business owner at 21,
Mm-hmm.
making like $3,000 or $4,000 a week. Then eventually became a trader. Um, Elon Musk, his innovation, his ability to do more and get more, so and get at it. So I'd say yeah, those are pretty big mentors for me.
And at what age do you think that road to entrepreneurship started for you? Like, when did you really think like that, you wanted to start your own or build more for yourself?
I'd say like 13. And
Wow.
yeah, it was 13, and I've already like I even have archives of when I wrote I'm gonna make my first $100. I'm
That's
gonna make my first
crazy.
thousand
That's
dollars through
crazy.
Chinese New Year money
Wow.
and throw that into investment. So I was already thinking like that 13, and then I wanted to build my own social media app at 16 with my friend, but at the time we didn't have hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'd say 13.
Wow. So when you're talking about setting those goals with like when you were 13, like, making $100 or making $1,000, how did you secure your funding or resources to, start investing in stocks or start investing in real estate?
So my dad had made me do a lot of like yard work labor, so I'd only get like $20 a week for cutting grass and
Mm-hmm.
cleaning the entire house. So I'd build up that $20, and eventually had enough for 100, and I went to Sam's Club, bought candy, sold candy, made like 40 to
Wow.
50% profit margins, and then I bought and sold iPhones, and then from iPhones to car, and then from then on, yeah, I just kind of just went.
That's awesome. So, since we're talking about the past,
Mm-hmm.
looking back, what advice would you give to your younger self before starting your entrepreneurial journey?
Um, hmm, I don't think there's anything I could tell him at this point in time. Maybe not. Maybe focus on one, or actually no, because I wouldn't have led to this realization if I did not make the mistakes.
Right.
So I couldn't tell him anything.
Can you share with us a personal mantra or philosophy that keeps you motivated, like a quote or something that really sticks with you that, every time you're having a hard setback, you rely on that and it keeps you going?
Um, I'd say if it is not the best standard, it is not my standard because the only standard is the best standard. And I've ran with that whenever I've reached my lows.
Wow, can you repeat that one more time?
So if it is not the best standard, it is not my standard because my only standard is the best standard. I think I said something along those lines, but I would always tell that to myself. I would write it on the wall, um, and that allowed me to understand that me being at my low, that's come on, man, you got to do better.
Right.
So,
And I know that some days you're less motivated than others. So, how do you handle those moments? When one day you're super motivated and the next you're not motivated at all. How do you handle that kind of up and down?
um, usually there's like small signs in between where if I'm like not as motivated, there's something that's bothering me,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever it is that's bothering me needs to stop bothering me. Whether it's being hungry, whether it's not being able to communicate certain things to certain people, or maybe frustration in the spite of like I'm not accomplishing my goals, I'm beating on myself. But how I overcome that is food.
Why food?
Food calms the mind. If you look it up, it actually calms the mind. It releases certain hormones to like relax you, calm down. And as a guy, like you don't really multitask too well. So when something good comes into your life, that's the only thing you can focus on, food. It just eases my mind, and then after that, like usually I have the craziest ideas.
That's incredible. So, what advice would you give to somebody that's lacking motivation?
Lacking motivation.
Like they have a lot of goals set,
hmm
they want to be successful, but they lack that motivation every now and then.
Surround yourself with 4 or 5 other people that are motivated. Be friends with them. Do whatever it is. You may not be motivated, but trust and believe the motivated people who are around you will get you motivated.
That's some powerful advice, actually. Wow. Um, so how do you think that your background affects um, your perspectives and values in your success?
Personal background, are you talking about like ethnic, or are you talking about just where I came from?
However you want to take it. So it can be like cultural, it can be, religious, it can be how you grew up, however you want to take it.
And you said how's that impacted my
Your values and perspectives in your success.
perspective? Well, coming from an ethnic background, my family, Asian parents, right? They always
Mm-hmm.
want you to strive for better, do better than they did, and I mean, get that college degree, just be better for yourself. And the way I took it from them was, I understand they want me to do better, and they may not have been a lawyer, a doctor, or whatever they wanted me to be at the time,
Yeah.
but they understood they wanted better for me, and I wanted better for myself. And through that energy, I was able to channel it through what I was doing, whether it's whatever it is what I was doing. Like I took that to just shoot for the stars, because when they couldn't and they had to secure a way to get here to the United States, I should fight for the success and the livelihood, I guess, of myself and the family, and the success as well. So.
So, moving along with motivation, how do you balance short term rewards with long term goals to sustain your motivation?
So those short-term rewards are like when you're thirsty on a marathon, whether
Mm-hmm.
like so like a marathon would be the long-term goal, and that's an 8-mile run, but with every mile that you walked, you took a sip of water. That's gonna
Okay.
get you much closer to getting that 8-mile, run. In the grand scheme of things, it looks, oh my gosh, like 8 miles is crazy, like that's too long, but no, like every mile that you run, maybe what it is for you could be like a new pair of shoes. Would that motivate you to continue moving further? Like, or each person in your family to retire? Whatever it is that you wanted it to be to reach those short term goals, motivate yourself to get to your bigger goal.
Okay. And once you start achieving goals left and right, long term and short term goals, how do you go about setting new goals?
Setting new goals. So along the journey, you'll see things. You'll see things that you've never seen before, experience things you never did before. Like recently, my birthday, we went on a yacht.
Mm-hmm.
Bottomless mimosas. It was a good time, but we went on a yacht. Or we traveled on a cruise for your birthday. Like the little
Yeah.
things like that. Allows you to see different perspectives in life, and different perspectives. That is part of personal development. And with
Right.
that, you see new things that you want. You are inspired. With new inspiration comes with new goals and desires.
So thinking about like just 1 year ago, when you didn't know me and your perspective is different, how do you think your perspective has changed in just the 1 year?
In the 1 year, well, I was in Africa. I was in
Right.
solitary confinement,
Yeah.
pretty much. So I went through my monk mode, and I didn't know my purpose. I didn't know my why, and so I digged really deep and I found it. And I think with that why has just allowed me to excel and transcend to different heights I've never did before. Um, Now, monetary wise, the stock market has been up and down, but it wasn't the monetary growth that I had. It was a personal growth, and that personal is intangible. You can't buy it. And so, in that way, in that feeling, in that new development, I've grown.
And you were in Africa for work. So how do you maintain a healthy work-life balance while pursuing your goals?
I wouldn't say it was healthy at all. I don't think I maintained it at all. I was burning my time. I was burning just mental energy. Well, I'd say I'm lying. I'm lying. I'd say physical, physical training in the gym helped ease my mind. A stress reliever and outlet
Mm-hmm.
that helped me maintain. I guess you can call it a healthy work-life balance, but to be honest, it wasn't healthy. I've only gotten 3 hours of sleep every night when I was overseas.
So how would you say your work life balance is now? Now that you're back in the States, now that you have, your schedule going, how would you balance your how do you maintain a healthy work life balance while still pursuing your goals as well?
Well, I mean, we as a team, now we're starting to implement little like small things like for every achievement that we've accomplished, we write it down and we put it in the box.
Mm-hmm.
Or being able to structure ourselves and having a calendar, a schedule, some sort of structure, the way that computers work, we were doing similar things.
Right.
And so computers, there is no deviation. They accomplish it. And like us, when we have that sense of organization and structure, we're
Mm-hmm.
going to eventually accomplish it.
So, what do you think that us, writing our goals and putting it in the box, what do you think that does for us?
That's immense, like what we've already done.
Mm-hmm.
And when we look back, and when times are tough, we're like, wow, that box is filled up.
Right.
We've accomplished 80 or 100 different things over a matter of X amount of days, and this is just one of the next challenges that we have yet to accomplish. So it's not a matter of how, it's a matter of when.
Right. Okay.
Was that all the questions you had for me?
Um, Essentially, yeah, but I mean, we could dig even deeper if you would like.
So we can dig deeper on the next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, this YouTube video. I mean, there's gonna be a little bit of edits in here and there. It may just be raw, but some of the, I guess, the highlights of the podcast will be on Instagram. So whether you're on YouTube or Instagram, just go ahead and follow or subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. And if you like seeing this, and then stay tuned for more. Put that notification bell on, and I have nothing else for you guys. Peace.